Who was the real Emily Dickinson? And how did the people around her shape her perception? There has been a resurgence of Emily Dickinson in media, including films like A Quiet Passion.
Poems are my solace for the eternity which surrounds us all.
Wild Nights with Emily.
I had no idea of the recognition after death in the literary world.
Wild nights, were I with thee, wild nights should be our luxury.
As well as the new Apple TV show Dickinson.
I have one purpose,
Wild nights.
and that is to become a great writer.
You need to cut out these sort of antics.
We're definitely gonna have a war.
All have wildly different takes on the poet Emily Dickinson. The personality of Emily Dickinson has been in contention since her posthumous discovery of over 1,800 poems and letters. Those poems were edited and published in books that would make her one of America's most famous poets. In the Apple TV show Dickinson, it shows how wild and transgressive a poet Dickinson was. It shows her romance with Susan Gilbert, her yearning to be a writer, but also to do it in her own way and to retain her autonomy. This stands in contrast to Emily's portrayal after her death by the people closest to her. Dickinson takes liberties with the language, timeline, and events in Dickinson's life, but tells a truth that has been recently uncovered using technology to examine the poems and letters of Emily Dickinson. However, who edited her poems and told the story of her life after she died? And how does this match up with the more modern portrayals of Emily Dickinson? What can Emily's letters and poems tell us about her ambiguous life? Emily Dickinson was said to be an eccentric recluse who only published a few of her works and lived a loveless life alone. However, this description of Emily can be contested in the text she wrote, as well as looking at what was omitted from her letters and poems. The person who cemented this image of Emily? Mabel Loomis Todd. The mistress of Austin Dickinson, Emily Dickinson's brother, Mabel went about taking out all mentions of Susan Gilbert, Austin's wife, and Emily's best friend and supposed lover, as seen in Dickinson and Wild Nights with Emily. In Wild Nights with Emily, Mabel is the narrator, telling the audience exactly the opposite of what's happening in Emily's life. Her personality was drastically changed, and the letters she expressed herself with burned at her request. The ambiguity of Emily's life lies in how women, people with disabilities, and LGBTQ people were treated in that era. Scholarship examines her ambiguous life, theorizing that she was epileptic or gay. However, the proof is difficult to find, as that would not be public knowledge. Her reclusive lifestyle may not have been all her own doing, but a reaction to a society not ready to accept Emily. In Lives Like Loaded Guns, Emily Dickinson and Her Family's Feuds by Lyndell Gordon. Gordon theorizes that Emily Dickinson's reclusive nature could be due to epilepsy. Epilepsy, a neurological disorder marked by sudden recurrent episodes of sensory disturbance, loss of consciousness, or convulsions, could have been inherited from her family. The visions and headaches before a seizure could explain her wild poetry. This theory has yet to be explored in film and TV adaptations of her life, but there's always a chance we could see this explored in Season 2 of Dickinson. The theories about Emily and Emily's love life have been going on since the 1951 book Riddle of Emily Dickinson by Rebecca Patterson was published. That was the first mention of Emily having a relationship with Susan Gilbert. This scholarship was continued in the 1990s by Martha Nell Smith. However, she used infrared technology to examine Dickinson's edited poems and present her findings in the book Rowing in Eden, Rereading Emily Dickinson. It was found that huge swaths of her writing and punctuation were taken out. By studying the impressions on the backs of the original poems by Dickinson, Smith has discovered that 11 of Dickinson's poems were originally dedicated to Susan. These dedications were later obliterated. With these new findings coming to life, media is beginning to rethink the image of Emily Dickinson that was created posthumously. With the help of scholarship and infrared technology, Emily Dickinson's uncensored poems and letters are showing a new side of Dickinson. The visual representations of Emily's poems seen in Dickinson help to illustrate her intelligence, wit, and transgressive writing. Emily's Dickinson is as modern as the Apple TV show Dickinson, even if Dickinson is a truth-told slant.